Hello students, so let's continue with the MCQs. The first MCQ is, figure below shows an object AB placed on the principal axis of a lens L. The two foci of the lens are f1 and f2. The image formed by the lens is inverted, real and magnified. The image is located, there are four options given, between O and f1, between f1 and 2f1, at f2, beyond 2f1. Now, before we look at the diagram, from the question we have come to know that the image is real, inverted and magnified. First of all, real image is formed only in case of a convex lens. Concave lens always forms virtual and erect image. So, this lens is a convex lens. And as the image is real, inverted, magnified, it should be placed between f2 and 2f2 in front of it. As per this diagram, the focus which they have taken in front of the lens is f2, where the object lies. So, when the object is placed between f2 and 2f2, image is real, inverted, magnified and formed beyond 2f1 on the other side of the lens. Hope it is clear, students. So, D is the correct option, beyond 2f1. Now, the next MCQ is, with respect to air, the refractive indices of water and benzene are 1.33 and 1.50 respectively. It means refractive index of water with respect to air is 1.33 and refractive index of benzene with respect to air is 1.50. Or we can say absolute refractive index, or simply refractive index of water is 1.33 and refractive index or absolute refractive index of benzene is 1.50. The refractive index of benzene with respect to water is, you have to find out the correct answer out of the four options. And hope your concepts are clear, because I am not going to derive that relation again. We know that N21 is equal to N2 upon N1. It means refractive index of benzene with respect to water is a ratio of refractive index of benzene to refractive index of water. So when it is a ratio of these two refractive indices with refractive index of benzene in the numerator, we get refractive index of benzene with respect to water is 1.50 divided by 1.33. We know that this ratio cannot be equal to 1.33 or 1.50. So A and B options are not correct. And when we look at C and D option, we know that 1.5 divided by 1.3 cannot be less than 1. So D option is wrong. So C is the correct option. I'll show you the working here. Without working also, we can guess the correct answer in this MCQ. But I'll show you the working here now. See, in the question it is given that refractive index of water is 1.33 and benzene is 1.50. So, refractive index of benzene with respect to water is NB upon NW. NBW is NB upon NW. And that is equal to 1.5 upon 1.33, which is 1.127, which is approximately 1.13. So we have seen the working, and now we know that the correct option is C, which is 1.13. Now the next question is, a 5 cm tall object is placed perpendicular to the principal axis of a convex lens of focal length 30 centimeters. The distance of the object from the lens is 20 centimeters. The position of the image formed is. Now in this case, height of the object is given and focal length of the convex lens is given. So focal length is plus 30 centimeter for convex lens. U is given 20 centimeters, which is the distance between focus and optical center of the lens. Now in this case, the position of the image they have not mentioned minus or positive sign there. They have just mentioned without sign convention the distance of the image from the mirror, from the lens. So in this case, you have to do the working to get the correct answer. When we look at the options, we can be sure that A is incorrect because object and image distances are never equal in this case when the object is lying between focus and optical center of the convex lens. But then we cannot choose directly from the other three options which is a correct one. So let us see the working. Height of the object is 5 centimeters, which we can take it as positive. F is plus 30 centimeter, as it is a convex lens, focal length has to be positive. U, object distance is given 20 centimeter, object is at 20 centimeters from the lens. So by convention, U has to be negative because object always lies on the left hand side as per sign convention, and it has to be taken as negative. You have to find V, position of the image from the lens. So in this case, when we use the lens formula, 1 over f is 1 over v minus 1 over u. Put the values of f and u and do the simplification. See here, after doing simplification, we get that 1 over v is minus 1 over 60. So v is minus 60 centimeters. As expected, because the object is lying between focus and optical center of the lens, or between focus and lens, so the image has to be virtual and erect, and it has to lie in front of the convex lens only where the object is lying, and hence V is coming negative. V is minus 60 centimeters. Now when we look at the four options, there is no negative sign mentioned. We have to select the correct answer without the sign. So 60 centimeters, as we have seen, is the correct answer. So C is the correct answer. So in this question, 5 centimeter is just given. It is not required to find out the answer. Now let us look at the last MCQ for today. A student, while doing the experiment on tracing the path of a ray of light passing through a rectangular glass slab, measured the three angles marked as theta 1, theta 2 and theta 3 in the figure. His measurements could be correct if he is able to find. There are four options given which shows a relation between theta 1, theta 2 and theta 3. Now before we look at the options, let us look at the diagram. Now see students, there is an error in the diagram because theta 1 is not shown. Theta 2 is shown twice, which is wrong. So first of all, let us do the correction here. So let us mark the first theta 2 as theta 1 and let us draw the normals at the point of incidence and point of emergence. So now the labeling is proper. Normals I have drawn just to get the correct relation between the three angles. Now we know that theta 1 is not our angle of incidence. In fact, the other angle which is complementary to this angle is angle of incidence, and theta 1 we can say is 90 minus I. Similarly, theta 2 is not angle of refraction. The other complementary angle to this theta 2 is angle of refraction. So theta 2 is 90 degree minus R. Or what we can say is, when we look at the figure, now I have labeled I and R. You know that as a ray of light is traveling from air into rectangular glass slab, it is entering from rarer into denser medium. So bending takes place towards the normal. So I have labeled I and R properly. We know that I is greater than R. And as I and theta 1 are complementary and R and theta 2 are complementary, so theta 1 is theta 1 is less than theta 2 because I is greater than R. So I plus theta 1 is 90 degree and R plus theta 2 is 90 degree. But I is greater than R, so it means theta 2 is greater than theta 1. And also we know that whenever any ray of light enters into the glass slab, angle of emergence is always equal to angle of incidence. So let me here label the angle of emergence for you. So now I have labeled E. So we know that in the case of this ray diagram, I is always equal to E. If I is always equal to E, it means theta 1 is always equal to theta 3. Because I plus theta 1 is 90 degree and E plus theta 3 is 90 degree, and I and E are equal, it implies theta 1 and theta 3 are equal. So out of the four options, if we see now, out of the four options, if we see now, theta 1 is less than theta 2, this we have seen first, and also theta 1 is always equal to theta 3. So B is the correct option. Hope you have understood the MCQs, students. So we'll continue with the MCQs in our next video. Goodbye, students.